3, 2, 1. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Male Perspective. I'm Kuorosh, my good friends Kurt and Jeff. And this week we're going to be talking about a very important topic that's fresh on our minds, and that is, do men cheat more or do women cheat more? What do you think?
Well, for me, I think that it's probably about equal. I think men are probably portrayed more as being the ones that are actually doing the cheating.
Oh, we get more credit.
Yes, but I think, you know, there's just as many women that are stepping out. I mean, if the guys are stepping out, they have to be stepping out with somebody.
Okay.
And, you know, a lot of times I think people find themselves in situations where they're not happy in their current situation, and before they actually exit their current relationship, actually test the waters and see what else is
work on their exit strategy.
Work on their exit strategy, exactly. No one leaves a current strategy until they found a bigger, better deal.
What do you think, Jeff?
I would agree. I think that for the most part it's probably equal. I think men step out just as much as women, perhaps for different reasons. With women, maybe they're looking for an emotional connection, more of an emotional connection and more attention. Men are probably looking at it from a more physical standpoint. Maybe they're sexually attracted to someone else and just want to, you know, see where that curiosity leads. So yeah, I'd say it's about equal. Maybe the motivation is different. They're coming at it from different angles, but I'd say they cheat equally as much.
I don't know, fellas. I think that women cheat way more than men do. I think it's that whole, you know, formula of 3. Men brag 3 times as much about their, you know, stepping out, and I think women probably don't let it out. They're a lot more discreet, a lot smarter about it than we are. So I think, you know, women are probably cheating more than men are, but that's just this boy's perspective, you know. I don't know. What do you think about what I'm
I
putting
think
out there?
women can be dogs just as much as men can.
Okay.
And I think as women get older, actually, and the dating pool actually gets shallow, I think they become more and more aggressive in pursuing the opportunities that they do have.
I do agree as far as women being way more aggressive than we are.
You know, when I was a young guy, you know, I went out a lot and I, you know, approached women, but you know, it's kind of like throwing your fishing line out there. You want to see, you know, if anyone's playing with your line at least. You know, and if something happens, great. If not, you know, it's kind of a game. You're just kind of out there testing the waters. But you know, once I was actually in a relationship, really never felt a need to step out. It's only when, you know, things started not to go well, you know, basically I ended the relationship and I didn't really need to step out. I was just going to a better situation.
Well, Jeff, you work with a lot of girls. You know, you hear all the girl talk. What are they saying out there?
Well, I think women, in my judgment, tend to be more explicit when they talk about things, talk about their relationships with their...
But they're giving out the details?
Yeah, they tend to be more explicit with each other. And
that's a great thought.
You would think that men would be more explicit, more into detail, but it's been my experience working around women that they're, you know, much more into details. I don't know, they tend to enjoy it, I think, talking about certain things that I would think would be almost silly for 2 men to sit up and talk about.
And here I thought us guys were all the braggarts. Right. So
well,
the women are bragging out there, huh?
I was in a fraternity in college, and certainly within the house, you know, we had about 40 guys living in the house.
Okay.
There was always stories circulating and men trying to outdo each other and telling each other various stories, trying to improve their so-called standing among the
Yeah,
the
but
other
how
guys in
much
the
was
house.
that them blowing smoke up each
And
other's
Well, the
butts?
funny thing about it is the guys that were actually probably really doing a lot of the activity
Right?
were the ones that really were the ones that really weren't saying a whole lot. It's the ones that really had nothing going on that they're really
Right.
trying to tell the world that they had some exploits going on.
Okay. I buy into that. I really do believe that men tend to brag about a lot of stuff that they shouldn't, and women tend to be a lot more discreet than we are.
Well, I think the reasons, women, when they tell their other friends, they're really doing so for comparison purposes. It's not really necessary for bragging.
Really?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time in the women's locker room, unfortunately.
Oh, neither do I, my friend. Neither do I, for entirely different reasons. I'm what you call more a visual kind of guy. Jeff's being very quiet over there, you know, he's being sweet and innocent.
Well, he's the good shoulder. He's the married one among us.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, you know, I made a promise to myself and to my wife, really before we ever got married, that if I ever felt compelled to step out, and of course there would be things leading up to that. I mean, I would hope nothing impulsive, but reasons behind it, that I would do the right thing and have enough respect, most important for my wife, but also for myself and my family, to you know, step away from that marriage or relationship. But so my point is, I would hate to betray.
So end your relationship rather than cheat on your relationship.
Yeah, I would hate to you know, violate the fidelity that my wife and I share. So that might be, you know, an old school way of looking at it, but that's really the way I am, and you know, I can honestly say I've not stepped out on my wife. I have no intention of stepping out on my wife. I'm happily married. I love her very much, but you know, I think people need to really consider, really weigh the ramifications of stepping out. You know, it affects not only yourself or your spouse, but if you have children, families, friends, it can be a toxic situation. So, you know, I would say it's almost better to just first end what's there and then start fresh. But that's how I feel about it.
Well, Jeff, you know, I got to tell you something. Being that we're in America, I think we should have like another what do you call it, group, like, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous. We should have Cheaters Anonymous. You know, that way, you know, they can go, oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, I think you have people who do that already. They go to church and they go to confessionals, and that's where they.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they do in confessionals? Oh my God. I had a totally different idea what that was.
Well, I mean, being a Buddhist myself, we don't really have that whole confessional mechanism.
How do you cleanse?
Well, hopefully you kind of thought about your actions.
And you don't cheat, okay.
Well, and, you know, I guess the viewpoint that, you know, a Buddhist would take is that, you know, if you're going to open Pandora's box, whatever comes out of opening that box, you have to accept willingly. You know, even if those bad things.
I'm always trying to open Pandora's box. Oh, sorry. I had a totally different definition of Pandora's box.
You're looking for a girl named Pandora?
Exactly. Poor Jeff is blushing to get over there.
Sure.
Sorry, Jeff. You know, I tend to be a little rascal at this end of the couch.
Yeah. You're single, you can afford to be.
So anyway, talk about being single. I think we should wrap it up today, and next week we talk about the difference of being single versus being married. So until next week, aloha.
Aloha.
Ciao.